In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to automate multiple tasks in your credit repair business using Zapier and the Client Dispute Manager software. Now, before I get started, I want you to go and hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification so every single time I shoot a new powerful video just like this one, you will get notified. All right, so the first thing I want to do is show you what this thing is, Zapier, and how can it automate your business using the Client Dispute Manager software. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm logged into Zapier right now. So let me explain to you what Zapier is. Okay, Zapier allows you to find ways for Zapier to handle repetitive tasks in the apps you use every day. Zapier automates 5,000 plus apps in millions of ways, and let's find a way at the same time. So what does that mean? That means Zapier is a platform where you can connect the Client Dispute Manager to, and it would allow you to automate multiple different variations of tasks using thousands and thousands of third-party applications inside of Zapier. All right, so not only are you able to do that, but let me show you what the Client Dispute Manager Zapier homepage looks like. That way you'll get a better idea of what the Client Dispute Manager can do for you when it comes to automating multiple and different tasks. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log into that right now. Now, right now we're on the Client Dispute Manager's company page for Zapier. And as you can see right here, I want to scroll down here. This is what we call just different ways. When you look at this page here, this gives you different ways that you can automate various tedious tasks inside of the Client Dispute Manager. So when you're trying to look for different ways to automate, you can come to this page right here. Let's load some more. And Zapier is showing you different popular ways you can automate different tasks using Zapier. All right, for example, right here it says you can use Aweber subscribers as a website lead in Client Dispute Manager. Create new Client Dispute Manager website leads from contacts added to the list in active campaign. So what this page is doing is just showing you different ways you can use Zapier to connect with the Client Dispute Manager. And a little bit later on in this video, I'm going to show you 4 popular zaps that you can do to connect the Client Dispute Manager to, and to take away some of those repetitive tasks inside of the software. All right, so let me show you some other things that you can do inside of Zapier and the Client Dispute Manager. So I'm going to scroll down some more. Okay. And we're at what we call the triggers and action pages. Okay, so let me click on the triggers and I'm going to click load. All right. Now let me count how many triggers we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have 16 triggers. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, Mark, I don't know what a trigger is. I don't know what an action is, but I'm gonna break it down to you really quick right here. So we have 16 triggers, and let me see how many actions we have. And we have 4 actions. Okay, so we have 16 triggers and we have 4 actions. Okay, so what does that mean? So a trigger is where something starts and an action is where it ends. So how would a trigger work when it comes to automation? So let me give you an example. So a trigger will be, let's just say you're inside of the Client Dispute Manager software, right? And you have a customer as an active customer. They're active, right? So you made them active. They're going through your program, so they're active customer. Now, trigger basically means anytime I change that active customer status from active to cancel. Let's just say the customer cancel. So when I change that status from active to cancel, that's a trigger because we're starting with the Client Dispute Manager. So we're going to connect the Client Dispute Manager to Zapier, and then we're going to connect it to Active Campaign. So we're going to start with the Client Dispute Manager, then we're going to add Zapier, and then Active Campaign, right? Which is an email service provider. So the trigger happens when this customer, when I log into my credit repair software, change the status from active to cancel because the customer cancel, that's going to trigger the zap inside of Zapier. And because I have ActiveCampaign connected and I have an email sequence connected, whenever a customer's status is changing from active to cancel, it's going to trigger an email nurturing comeback campaign and ActiveCampaign. So what's going to happen? ActiveCampaign, once that trigger happens, ActiveCampaign is going to start sending out emails to that canceled customer, trying to get them to come back to be an active customer. So the trigger is the client dispute manager, and ActiveCampaign is the action. I hope you get that. Okay. So now that you understand that, and you understand what Zapier is, you understand like some of the triggers and actions that you can use inside of the client dispute manager in Zapier. Let me log into the client dispute manager, and then let me show you exactly where Zapier is located so you can activate Zapier. Because whenever you put a trigger together, whenever you put a Zap together, Zapier is going to ask you for your Zapier credentials. All right, so let me show you right now. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click here. I'm on the dashboard of the client dispute manager right now. So I'm going to go right over the company, and then I'm going to go down to notification and automation. And then I'm going to go right here to Zapier. And right here, if you click where it says create Zapier credentials, this is where you're going to need these credentials, because when you put your Zap together, which I'm going to show you later, when you put your Zap together, Zapier is going to ask you for your client dispute manager account credentials. And that's where you get it from. You get it from right here. You click on create Zapier credentials. Now, I do recommend that you watch the first video, the second video, and the third video, so you get a better understanding of the overall scope of Zapier. I'm just giving you a quick video on some of the basics of Zapier. All right, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you 4 different ways that you can automate your business. You can automate different tasks using the client dispute manager and Zapier. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is the 4 ways that you can build automations using the client dispute manager in Zapier. And it's pretty easy once you understand what you're doing. Now, like I said, building these apps are endless, right? So we got 16 triggers inside of Zapier for the client dispute manager, and we have like 4 automations. So you can do a lot of automating with Zapier in the client dispute manager. I mean, you just got to learn the different ways of doing it, right? So let me show you 4 common ways that a lot of big businesses do, the things they use to automate the client dispute manager with Zapier. All right, so let me show that to you right now. All right, so where we are right now, we're on one of the pages of Zapier, and one of the first things we're going to automate is your calendar appointments into the client dispute manager. So how does that work? You want somebody to book an appointment with you, but you want their information, like their first name, their last name, and their email address to come directly into the client dispute manager. So you can do that by connecting Calendly with Zapier. And as soon as someone books an appointment on your calendar, their information will come into the client dispute manager as a new lead. And you will also get their information in your email. Okay, so I just want to let you know that it's very powerful, it's very common, and it's very easy to do in Zapier. So let me show that to you right now. All right, so we're right here on the Welcome to Zapier page. So what I'm going to do is go right here. I'm going to click on Calendly. Okay, as you can see, it comes right here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is click on the Client Dispute Manager. Look at that, bam. All right, so boom. So that's all you have to do. And then from there, you just click on Make a Zap. And once you click on Make a Zap, once you click here, once you click on Make a Zap, it's just step by step from there. It's that easy. It'll ask you for your Calendly account, and it'll also ask you for your client dispute manager credentials. It's that easy, guys. I'm telling you, a lot of people try to make a big deal out of this, but it's not. It's straightforward and it's simplistic, just like that. You just got to know what type of automation that you want to do. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the second automation. And that second automation that we're going to do is we're going to connect ActiveCampaign, which is an email service provider, and we're going to connect it with the client dispute manager. All right, now what recipe is this? Like, what automation is this, Mark? Okay, this automation is very popular because a lot of people keep asking me, why don't you guys have a lead nurturing email system inside of the software for leads? Like anytime you get a lead, you got to nurture them through emails, right? So we don't have that email nurturing system for leads built into the client dispute manager. We do have it for active customers. Like when they become a customer, you can turn on the nurturing email system, but we don't have it for leads. So what is a quick way to automate this? You can use the client dispute manager and Active Campaign. Active Campaign is a email service provider. So what you have to do is you have to build your email drip sequence. You got to write out your emails that's going to nurture your leads to a sale, right? And then you put those emails inside of Active Campaign. So anytime a new lead comes into the software, that trigger will happen. It will send a message to Zapier. Zapier will activate Active Campaign, and then that email sequence that you put in Active Campaign will trigger, and it will start dripping your lead. And you will do this all through the Client Dispute Manager and Active Campaign. So let me show you how to do that right now. All right, so we're gonna go right here. And so what you wanna do, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. And we can get rid of that too. So let's go to Active Campaign. So, but in this situation, we're gonna start with the Client Dispute Manager, right? Because whenever a lead comes into the Client Dispute Manager, we want it to activate the Active Campaign, so Active Campaign can start dripping your lead. So we want to start with the Client Dispute Manager, and then when the lead comes into Client Dispute Manager, it will trigger through Zapier, and then Zapier will trigger Active Campaign, and then Active Campaign will start triggering that email drip sequence that you set up in Active Campaign. I'm telling you, it's pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and check that out again. And then now all we got to do is type in Active Campaign. Okay. Now, in this setup, Client Dispute Manager is the trigger and Active Campaign is the action. In the prior setup, Calendly was the trigger because the customer was coming in from the calendar. And then the Client Dispute Manager was the action because the customer was landing inside of the Client Dispute Manager as a lead. So Client Dispute Manager would be action, and then Calendly will be the trigger. All right, so let's check out the second one. Now, in the second one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to back up your leads or your customers every single time you input them in the Client Dispute Manager. You wanna back them up to a third party, right? So you wanna always back up your data. So this is only gonna back up your lead information or your customer information. So let me show you that right now. So what we're gonna do is Pipedrive is a very popular software where you can use it for, it's a CRM, you can use it for sales, you can use it for management of your customers. So we're gonna use it for backing up only. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to the dashboard here. Let's get rid of this and let's get rid of that. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna type in a Client Dispute Manager again. And then we're gonna type in Pipedrive. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna click Make a Zap. Again, the way this one works is simple. It's simple. Remember, Client Dispute Manager, because we're starting with Client Dispute Manager first, it's called a trigger. And because the data is gonna land in Pipedrive, Pipedrive is now the action. Okay, so you got the trigger and then you got the action. Remember we talked about that? Okay, now the way this works is that every single time a person becomes lead inside of the Client Dispute Manager, you can trigger it through Zapier to make their data, all the data you collected from them, to go to Pipedrive as a backup, right? Or if you change their status from lead to active customer, and you want to back up their data, you can, that status change, which is a trigger, that status change is going to push their information through Zapier into Pipedrive as a backup. So this happens automatically. So once you set up your Zaps, that's it. It happens automatically. You don't have to keep doing this every single time. It's like a one-time setup. And then every single time you bring a customer inside of the Client Dispute Manager, it automatically backs that customer up. It automatically backs them up into Pipedrive. So you always want to back up your customer information because you spent money to get those leads. You worked to get those leads. You did marketing to get those leads. So you always want to back up your information. All right. And so the last one I want to show you The last one, what I want to show you, let's go ahead and get rid of this here, is not Pipe Drive, is JotForm. JotForm to Client Dispute Manager. All right, so JotForm is the trigger because it's going to start here. It's going to start at JotForm, and Client Dispute Manager is the action because it's going to end here. All right. So remember, a trigger is where the action starts, and then the action is where the information lands, right? So wherever it starts is the trigger, and wherever it ends is the action. So sometimes we can start with the Client Dispute Manager trigger and then use Google Contacts as an action because it ends there, right? Or we can start with Google Contacts as a trigger, and then we can use the Client Dispute Manager as an action because it ends there. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So the way JotForm is a more advanced form, right? Like, you know how you have the website lead forms, affiliate forms, and the client auto sign up form. So although we have really, really good forms and you can do a lot of stuff with it, but JotForm is just like forms on steroids, right? So you got gravity forms, type forms, JotForm. So if you want to do like all kind of really, really advanced stuff, you can use JotForms, gravity forms, or type forms, right? And you can integrate these forms with the Client Dispute Manager. And how do you do that? You pretty much build your form, you put it on your website, you connect it to Zapier and the Client Dispute Manager, and anytime a lead comes into the form, it will land into the Client Dispute Manager as a new lead. All right, so JotForms is very popular. It's very powerful. And here you go, JotForm, and let me see, Typeform. You see? We got gravity form. You see? So there you go. All right, so listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to use Client Dispute Manager with Zapier and how to automate your entire business. But before we go today, listen, I want to give you a free 30-day trial, a free 30-day software trial on the Client Dispute Manager. Okay, there's no credit card required. You just get a free 30-day trial, step by step. I'm also going to give you a free training course, a free start, run, and scale your credit repair business email master course. It's a 30-day email course, and it teaches you step by step on how to start and run a successful credit restoration business. So I want to give you the free trial, and I also want to give you this free training, this free email training, where it shows you step by step on how to run a successful credit repair business. And all you have to do right now to get all of this free training, get the free trial, is to click the link below this video. Anywhere below this video, click the link, right? And get started with running a successful credit restoration business. Until then, take care.